Hi everyone, so today I'm here to review this movie which I was so eager to watch because firstly, this movie is supposed to make cinematic history as it is the very first live action Pokemon movie. Secondly, I've always wanted to watch a live action Pokemon movie ever since I became crazy about Pokemon, which when I was very little. So let's just get right to it. So this movie follows young Tim Goodman being forced to travel to Rhyme City after being informed that his estranged father, the legendary detective Harry Goodman, was presumed dead while solving a case. Afterward, he unexpectedly meets a Detective Pikachu in his father's apartment, and the two of them, along with a reporting intern named Lucy Stevens with a Psyduck, team up together to crack his late father's last case. Okay guys, so now that I'm done giving a very brief summary of the story of this movie, I shall tell you guys first about what I liked about this movie, which is firstly, well, the first act went rather swell as I did not find any problems worth mentioning. It had an opening similar to the ones in the RPG games, showing a beautiful cinematic lighting shot of the protagonist's small town and the native Pokemon, bringing a sense of nostalgia watching that scene. Okay, it had good transitions as well as a great introduction to the bustling metropolis of Rhyme City, where the Pokemon and people live in harmony. Secondly, it has many hilarious moments poking fun at some of the Pokemon, as well as Ryan Reynolds' voice and humor coming out of an electric mouse, which I thought was great in making the audience entertained. Thirdly, Justice Smith and Pikachu Ryan had great chemistry throughout the movie. Fourth, well, this movie had many adventurous parts showing the gang going to some interesting and very beautiful places. Six is that, well, I love the designs of the live Pokemon in this movie, as I felt that they were well translated and they were beautifully designed while retaining many of their original features from the anime and games. Seventh, and my last point that I liked about this movie is that, well, the antagonist had a decent diabolical plan. Okay, so now that I'm done talking about what I liked about this movie, it's time for me to move on to the problems I thought this movie had. And these are crucial problems, okay, which is firstly, well, the script from the second act onwards towards the end, I mean, it just felt like it was gradually becoming cheap and poorly written. This resulted in plot holes, confusing, and ex machina moments where the main character solved mysteries without any signs of struggles at all, which just seemed absurd, especially for a detective movie. It felt like the mysteries unraveled themselves for them instead of our protagonists solving them. Okay, many of the scenes, even the emotional ones, they were just so staged, poorly planned, and just seemed senseless to me that I only, I felt little to nothing for those scenes while watching them. Yeah, despite Justice Smith and Pikachu Ryan Reynolds, they were giving their very best to make those scenes work, but I just think that well, despite their acting, those scenes just didn't seem to work for me. The second problem I thought this movie had would be this character, Lucy Stevens, who is the reporter and Psyduck's trainer, in terms of how the character was portrayed, because it seemed, Catherine Newton's performance as Lucy Stevens just seemed very fake and animated, whereas everyone else seemed reasonably realistic. She seemed to be playing either a character straight out of the Pokemon RPG games or from the English dub version of the Pokemon anime, whereas everyone just seems pretty normal. Even her introduction into the movie just went the same way the games would have played it out. Okay, I would think that Pikachu was even more realistic than her. This is also very bad because, well, Lucy Stevens had no consistency with the other characters, making me very frustrated and confused whenever she appears in the movie and starts talking. Like, when she does, when I see her in the movie and she's talking, I'm like wondering if I'm either watching a cartoon or a live action movie.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it everything I've got!
See what I mean? I'm not sure why did a character turn out like this, but I just hope that it was because, that it was solely because that Lucy Stevens, Catherine Newton's character was written to be just like that. Because, well, watching Catherine's performance in 2018's Blockers, I thought that she was quite okay in that movie. If she applied that acting into Detective Pikachu, then I would have probably liked Lucy Stevens slightly more. Now, the third problem I thought this movie had would be, well, there were only a few characters whom I thought was memorable, and I'm not including the villains at all. I think that the villains were unfortunately one of the most forgettable characters of not just the movie, but of any movie I've ever watched. Okay, they're the most forgettable villains that I have ever seen in a movie. And finally, off to the fourth and final problem I thought this movie had would be, well, this movie had a rather weak conclusion to Detective Pikachu, which probably resulted from too little characters and action taken to bring out this quote-unquote epic end. Alright, so now that I'm finally done highlighting what I liked and disliked about this movie, I shall say that this movie was overall decent while being very disappointing for me. Okay, because it was neither a good mystery or normal movie at all. There were just numerous things they failed to utilize in Detective Pikachu that it seemed to be a real waste. I can see what they're going for and the underlying potential in this movie, such as how they want to portray the relationship between Pokemon and humans. However, I just felt that the script from the second act onward started to go downhill and failed to make it work, in my opinion. As someone who grew up playing the games, watching the anime and the previous anime Pokemon movies, seeing how bad this movie went really hit me hard, like Stone Age hard. Like, I'm a fire flying type Pokemon like Moltres or Charizard, who is 4 times weak to rock moves, being hit with Stone Age, and Stone Age has a power of 90, so it's like 90 times 4, 360. Okay, yeah, I shall stop being very technical about that. Right, sorry about that. I used to think that the Pokemon Sun and Moon anime series sucked the most, but now I think that I can safely place this movie in that spot now. Like, how the heck did this movie make so many mistakes? I anticipated so much from this movie, partly because that Ryan Reynolds was starring in it. Also, the trailer made this movie look so good. Unfortunately, after watching this movie, I just think that, well, the movie and the trailer of Detective Pikachu were showing two very different things. Would I recommend you guys to watch this movie? Perhaps only for the Pokemon and Ryan Reynolds as Pikachu, as well as for the first act. Okay, I thought that the first act was almost flawless. Other than that, I highly recommend you guys, especially the Pokemon fans like me, to save your money and stay away from this movie. Just wait for it to come out online, unless ultimately it's your decision to watch this movie in the cinema, and just to be either surely disappointed or amazed at the many mistakes this movie made. Alright, so this is finally the end of my review of Detective Pikachu. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. Feel free to drop in your comments about, whatever thoughts you have about this movie. And I'm hoping to see you guys again very soon with another movie review. So cheers.